Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA?
Nike just released a new commercial that didn't just sell a shoe, it publicly exposed a silent multi-million-dollar war for the soul of their brand, a war that's turning the sports world on its head. For years, Nike meticulously crafted A'ja Wilson's image, positioning her as the heir to the throne of women's basketball. But in a stunning corporate plot twist, Caitlin Clark just casually crashed their entire website with a pair of Kobe hand-me-downs. This isn't just about sneakers anymore. This is the story of Nike finally being forced to wake up and admit they might have been betting on the wrong horse this entire time, leaving their chosen one seething in the shadows.
Caitlin Clark and Nike are officially dropping Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player-exclusive Kobe 5s in just a couple weeks. So this shoe was first seen being worn by Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear her.
Well, I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on Sneakers App tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult call. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
The chaos began just days ago with the release of Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player exclusive Kobe 5s. It wasn't just a successful launch, it was a digital stampede. The shoe, rumored to have a limited run of only 13,000 pairs, vanished from digital shelves in literal minutes. The demand was so overwhelming that Nike's website, a platform engineered by a global mega corporation, buckled under the pressure and simply broke. Fans who thought they were ready were met with error screens and sold out notifications before they could even process what was happening. Social media erupted with a mix of triumph and despair. People posted screenshots of their checkout confirmations like they were winning lottery tickets, while thousands more lamented missing out. The pandemonium spilled offline, with photos surfacing of fans lined up around the block at the few physical stores that had stock, camping out like it was a supreme drop. Within hours, the secondary market told the real story. Resale prices on platforms like StockX and GOAT skyrocketed, with the $190 shoes suddenly fetching between $350 and $600. It was a raw, undeniable display of market power that no marketing campaign could ever hope to replicate.
Look, these things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here, and no, I don't want to pay $600 on GOAT.
I lost all respect for A'ja Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in the Time magazine, read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time? Suspicious.
This explosive demand for Clark's gear throws a glaring, uncomfortable spotlight on Nike's other, much more deliberate project, A'ja Wilson's signature shoe, the A1. This was no quick collaboration. Nike invested 2 full years into developing Wilson's line, giving her the complete princess treatment. She was flown to their top-secret Beaverton headquarters for countless design sessions. They painstakingly helped her weave her personal history into the shoe's DNA, from Celtic symbols honoring her parents to quotes from her grandmother embedded in the design. It was a family scrapbook with laces. To top it all off, her launch commercial was a high art production directed by Malia Obama. This was Nike's masterpiece. a calculated, resource-intensive plan to anoint Wilson as the rightful face of the league. But in one Tuesday afternoon, the organic hype around Clark's borrowed Kobe design generated more authentic buzz than Wilson's 2-year, carefully orchestrated coronation. The contrast was so stark, it was almost embarrassing.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her, no collaboration.
But this is where the story gets spicy and delves into a controversy that has fans picking sides. While Nike was secretly building her a kingdom, Aja Wilson appeared in a now infamous Time magazine piece. In it, she spoke at length about the disparities in media coverage, with many interpreting her comments as direct shots at Caitlin Clark, framing the conversation around race and unearned privilege. The backlash was swift, but it became a full-blown firestorm when news of her secret shoe deal finally leaked. Fans felt betrayed, questioning why she would fan the flames of a divisive narrative when she was holding the ultimate trump card. She had the power to unite the fan base by saying, "Hey everyone, relax. She's getting her shine, and I've got my own historic deal coming too." But she chose silence. That silence allowed a toxic us versus them narrative to fester, one that painted Clark as a villain, while Wilson was being positioned as the unsung hero, all while a multi-million-dollar contract was sitting in her back pocket.
And all this was done while the shoes being developed, while the collection's being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I honestly find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't.
Nike did not fumble Caitlin Clark. It takes years and years of research and development and building and designing and trialing and erroring to build a custom shoe line. Caitlin Clark has played in only Kobe 5s and Kobe 6s almost exclusively for like the last 3 or 4 years. If they are building a shoe for Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark is going to wear, that she's going to sell, that she's going to give away to her teammates, to her fans, to whomever, it has to be as good as, if not better, than the Kobe 5 or 6. And there's new Kobe variants out and she doesn't wear them. She signed a $28 million 10-year contract with Nike. Year 2. We're in year 2 of that. The shoes are coming. They have to design them. It takes several years for this to happen. We're not just doing a colorway like Paige Beckers did.
You could almost forgive a player for getting caught up in the moment, but you can't forgive the multi-billion-dollar corporation that orchestrated the entire mess. Nike's role in this drama is deeply questionable. They had both stars under their roof. They knew both deals were in the works. Yet they allowed Clark to take endless heat from critics and even fellow players, never once stepping in to say, "Hold on, we have massive plans for Aja too. This isn't a zero-sum game." Their silence wasn't just poor marketing. It felt manipulative. It created a controversy that didn't need to exist, fueling racial tensions and division where there could have been celebration for two incredible athletes. It left fans wondering if this was just gross incompetence or a calculated strategy to manufacture drama, a cynical ploy to create a rivalry that would, in their minds, elevate the league. Either way, it was a deplorable tactic that damaged the brands of both players and the league itself.
Your stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions Their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe.
The situation got so bad that even former Nike insiders couldn't stay quiet. Jordan Rogers, a former basketball marketing director for the company, went public with a scathing critique, calling out his old employer for completely fumbling the Caitlin Clark opportunity. He essentially shamed them from the outside, pointing out the absurdity of their hesitation. His words carried weight, especially as Nike's stock price was hitting a 5-year low. While the company was busy trying to make Wilson happen, their investors were losing money. The data was screaming at them. A quick look at Google Trends shows a staggering disparity in search traffic. Caitlin Clark's name generates interest that rivals and often surpasses major male athletes. The only female basketball player even in her stratosphere is Angel Reese, who Nike let slip away to Reebok. Nike's own data was telling them they had a unicorn, a cultural phenomenon on the level of Michael Jordan, and they were treating her like an afterthought while their stock options became worthless.
But I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
Let's break down the math, because numbers don't have feelings and they don't lie. In her final season at the University of Iowa, Caitlin Clark single-handedly generated an estimated $82.5 million in economic impact for the state. That's not a typo. That's one player in one state creating a small economy around her talent. Her influence didn't stop in college. Her WNBA debut drew 2.1 million viewers, the most for any WNBA game in over 2 decades. Her games now average over 1 million viewers, while other matchups struggle to break the 300,000 mark. When she plays on the road, ticket prices surge, and arenas that are usually half empty suddenly sell out. Little girls and boys across the country wear her number 22 jersey like a superhero costume. This isn't just about good basketball. It's a cultural tidal wave that companies would kill to be associated with. And for a critical period, Nike seemed content to just watch it pass them by.
I find it's very deplorable to me. I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got Aja's shoe coming. We got Aja's shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't have to be there. You're calling division where it didn't have to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to be there.
You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out.
Perhaps the most baffling piece of this puzzle is how Nike seemed to adopt an either-or philosophy for its female athletes. This approach is completely at odds with their strategy on the men's side. Nike currently has signature shoe lines for LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ja Morant, Devin Booker, and Luka Doncic, just to name a few. They never ask fans to choose between them. They flood the market with options because they know that different stars appeal to different fans. Yet, when it came to the WNBA, they acted as if there was only one throne, and it had to be earned through a carefully managed corporate process. It felt patronizing, as if they believed the women's market wasn't big enough for more than one queen. Some have speculated that Nike was simply afraid. They were wringing their hands, terrified of entering the politically divisive conversations that had been co-opted by media pundits around Clark, while other brands like Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson Basketball figured out how to partner with her. Nike, the biggest sports brand on the planet, was paralyzed. Their own tagline from a recent Super Bowl ad was, "You can't win, so win." It seems they were too afraid to take their own advice. So here we are, at the heart of the conflict, a battle between manufactured narratives and authentic explosive stardom. Aja Wilson's resume is undeniable. Multiple MVPs, championship rings, and an Olympic gold medal. On paper, she is everything a brand could want, but her appeal, while strong, has a ceiling. It connects with the die-hard WNBA fans, the ones who were already watching. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, transcends the sport. She pulls in casual fans, parents, kids, and even people who had never watched a basketball game in their lives. She never campaigned to be the face of the league. She just became it by being undeniably excellent and magnetic. Wilson has been lobbying for the position like it's an elected office she feels she deserves. Clark simply earned it by crashing websites and filling arenas without even trying. The market has spoken, not with think pieces or social media debates, but with its wallets.
Right? Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark defect.
Nike spent millions trying to make Aja Wilson the face of women's basketball.
The final verdict came the morning Clark's shoes were released. A retail price of $190 became a market value of over $350 in a matter of hours. That is the Caitlin Clark effect, quantified. Nike spent years and millions of dollars trying to make Aja Wilson the face of women's basketball, only to watch the real face of the sport emerge organically, wearing their competitors' shoes in college and selling out arenas just by existing. Their frantic course correction, the slick commercials, the shoe drop, isn't just smart business. It's an act of survival. They finally realized they had the future of sports marketing on their roster and were treating her like a consolation prize. Aja Wilson can continue demanding attention and respect, but the market has already decided who deserves it. That decision wasn't made in a Nike boardroom. It was made by millions of fans with credit cards, proving that you can't fake star power. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here, and Nike has finally belatedly joined the winning army.